Hey guys, Stuart Charles here, HomeStudioBasics.com, helping you make sound decisions. So, today we're going to get into the JDS Labs Atom and do a little comparison to the Objective 2. It's not going to be like a really in-depth long one. Just want to make it short and sweet this time around because there's really not too much difference sound-wise between them, but we will get into some of the more technical differences. How's the build on the Atom? To be honest, I was really taken aback by how light it is. Coming from an Objective 2, that amp is a lot heavier and more, it feels more durable, I guess. But you also have to remember that it has 2 rechargeable batteries inside, whereas the Atom does not. The Atom you have to plug in via power brick and keep it plugged in. If you unplug it, it will turn off because it does not have internal batteries. So that's part of it. I think the other part is that they're focusing more on the sound this time around. I was a little bit disappointed, to be honest, but I can let it slide given how versatile this unit is and how good the sound is. So the knob on the front it doesn't feel cheap, but you're gonna be able to tell that this is mostly plastic. I don't know, I was expecting it to be a lot heavier. It's like that sensation when you go to pull a door open that you think is going to be really heavy and ends up being really light, and like you fall down and look like an idiot in the process, or lose your balance because it's just like whoosh. So aside from that, all the buttons feel pretty good. The connections feel pretty solid. I did notice that the input button, when it's pressed out, they kind of like sway to one side. You can actually push the knob with your thumb and it like gets back in line. I mean, it doesn't matter that much because it's just going to be sitting on your desk. So on the front of the Atom, we have the 1/4-inch headphone jack, the gain button, and the input button. On the back, we have 2 pairs of RCA, 1 pair of RCA outputs and 1 pair of RCA inputs, as well as a 3.5mm input and the 16-volt AC power jack. So if you weren't aware, RCA out sends a signal to another device, like say your studio monitors, while RCA in inputs receive a signal from another device. So for instance, a DAC. So that's why a lot of times you'll see RCA outputs on the back of a DAC and RCA inputs on the back of an amp. So for the input button, it toggles between the 3.5mm input and the RCA input, whereas the gain switch doubles as the gain, of course, but it also enables the RCA outs. So that's really the basic gist of this unit, and it's very versatile. There's a lot of different uses. So for instance, you could plug these in to your studio monitors. Obviously you're going to want to use it with a separate DAC when you're listening to music, or else
you're out of luck.
The simplest and most effective way for me anyway right now, because I don't have a lot of wires and stuff, is just using a 3.5mm interconnect and plugging one end into a DAC and the other end into the Atom. So right now I'm using the FiO K3. You can use the E10K as well because it has line out. Anything that has a 3.5mm line out you can use with this, a DAC that is, and even if it's an amp DAC you could still use it. For instance, I also use this with the AudioQuest Dragonfly Red. So basically you just plug in your amp DAC or your DAC into your PC via USB, plug the Dragonfly into your PC, and then plug a 3.5mm interconnect into the Dragonfly, and then plug the other end into the 3.5mm of this. Turn the volume all the way up on the Dragonfly, and then turn the volume knob on the Atom, which doubles as an on switch. So when you turn it, it makes a faint click. And then just adjust the volume to taste. But make sure that you have the input button pressed in, or you're not going to hear anything because it'll be on RCA instead of 3.5mm. You'd use that same method to plug in a K3. A second method that you can use is RCA input. So if you have a DAC like a Modi or JDS Labs' own OL DAC, like we discussed before, you would just simply use RCA to RCA. So you take the RCA, plug them into the back of the Modi or the OL DAC, and of course there'll be RCA outs, and plug the other ends into the RCA ins of the Atom, and then you've got a nice little setup there. So if you wanted to use RCA to mini, plug the RCAs into the back of the Modi or an OL DAC or any other DAC basically that has RCA out, and then plug the mini end, which is just 3.5 millimeter, into the back of the Atom or the front of the Objective 2. You can customize the Objective 2, highly customizable. I'll put a little screenshot video up of all the different combinations you can do, which is one of the cool things about the Objective 2. The Atom you can't really customize, it just comes as is, but the Atom does have the 2 pairs of RCAs, so it's a little more versatile in that it can hook up to studio monitors. Thirdly, if you wanted to plug in the Atom to your studio monitors, for instance, I have the JBL LSR 305s, you would just use RCA to XLR or RCA to TRS. And you'll need 2 separate cables, obviously. Sort of similar to an Audio Engine D1 in that you can power active monitors with it. Last but not least, build-wise, there are 4 rubber feet on the bottom of the unit. Pretty nifty in that it's not going to move at all on your desk. When I have this on my desk in my room and listen to music at night, it doesn't move at all. As far as build goes, like I said, I was a bit disappointed, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because it's just going to be sitting there. You're not going to really be taking this around with you a lot, and the rubber feet enable it to sit in one spot and not move. Let's talk about ergonomics and power output.
Let the men, women, and children of the earth come forth to gather and behold the power of Atom.
As well as sound. We're just gonna box it up and condense it all into one, baby. I didn't think entry-level amp could get any more powerful.
Behold!
Max output at 600 ohms, 125 milliwatts. Max output at 150 ohms, 502 milliwatts. And max output at 32 ohm, 1 watt. So the Objective 2's max output at 600 ohms was 88 milliwatts, 150 ohm, 355 milliwatts, and 33 ohm, 613 milliwatts. So as you can see, the Atom provides a bit more power. It's probably going to be negligible for most people. This is going to power 99% of headphones. Specs would indicate that the Atom is a little bit cleaner sounding than the Objective 2. Now, could I tell a difference? Not really. I mean, I enjoy my time with both of these amps. If there's a difference, it's very, very marginal, and you're probably not going to notice it. That said, the Atom is ridiculously clean.
Give your bodies to Atom, my friends. Release yourself to his power. Feel his glow and be divided.
But so is the Objective 2. I mean, turning up the volume on either results in absolutely zero distortion.
There shall be no tears.
Of course, you don't want to keep it turned up for that long. I pushed it a little just to see for a second or two. It's absolutely ridiculous how clean sounding this amp is, which is also astonishing considering it's $100 freaking. I was watching DMS's most recent video about how he doesn't like hi-fi, and he was talking about how budget audio is getting so good, and he's completely spot on with that because, I mean, nowadays you don't even have to have that much money, and you can get like upper echelon sound almost. So that's another reason why.
Shut up and take my money!
Why I don't like to recommend expensive gear unless it's like really, really worth it. Of course, I talk about the law of diminishing returns a lot in my videos, and so yeah, it's just becoming a lot easier for a beginner enthusiast to achieve great sound, even on a budget.
Bask in Atom's glow, and you will understand.
The Atom definitely fits that bill. This is a really, really great amp. Very versatile amp. The Objective 2 is also very versatile, but I think if you wanted to power monitors and build quality wasn't as big of a concern for you, I'd definitely go with the Atom. If you don't need to power monitors and build is more of a concern for you, I'd probably go with the Objective 2. You can also purchase the Objective 2 with the combo DAC, so the ODAC. So aside from the slight practical differences between these two amps, there's not too much difference in the way of sound, at least in my mind. Yeah, that's about it, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to my growing channel. Let me know what I can do to improve. Let me know what I do well. Let me know what you would like to see next. So if you like what I do here and you want to support the channel and get early access to videos and blogs, as well as some more good stuff, hit that Patreon link down below. Also, don't forget to check out my official article at homestudiobasics.com, and I will place a link below for that as well. And with that,
Check 1 2. Hope you enjoyed this review too. It was brought to you by Stu. Who? Me, the lyrical G. Empirical dreams slide through like green. PC gaming, letting off steam. Got bars for days like a prison inmate. A misdemeanor's fate, no debate. When I wake up, okay, start my day with a cup and I pray I don't faint. I'm a saint of the Most High God. Of the Most High God.
Let those who dwell here in his favored land attend now to the words of the prophet of Atom.